Good evening from New York. Today's subject the politics of love. How is inner mind communication like near death experiences that intrigues your mind? Well, inner mind communication, plain and simple, um, is kind of like creating and experiencing your own inner dream. And sometimes I call it the daylight dream. You're using your imagination, you're using your awareness, and you're practicing forms of empathy there. And empathy means you share the feelings of others. Well, guess what happens in your dreams? You're playing all the roles, all the parts. What do the near death experience folks say? Oh, I met all these people. And we didn't even need language. We I knew what they were thinking, and they knew what I was thinking, and we communicated. Well, in your imagination, or in your dream, you are your brain anyway. Is the creator of all you imagine. So basically, the creator of how you experience reality in your life. So when you're communicating inside your imagination, you're already developing a sense of empathy between yourself and other people in your mind. What happens when you walk into a political situation and you're talking to someone who differs from your opinion? Well, you feel that empathy. You've been training yourself with inner mind communication using empathy and awareness, and it becomes something that you do in life. It's a beautiful thing, and yeah. So what happens when you bring your inner mind near-death experience into politics? Well, first of all, you understand and have a real sense of connection between yourself and other people, no matter what their opinions are. And since you really don't know exactly what someone in real life is thinking, it gives you a sense of wonder. And, but it's similar to the wonder that you have within your own inner mind communication. Why? Because you are communicating in part to the imaginer of all you imagine, your inner artist. And that is full of wonder, and you realize that this inner artist is something that exists in every person you meet. They have an imaginer of all they imagine. The thing is, they need to connect to that imaginer in a caring sort of dialogue. And that imaginer of all you imagine imagines various perspectives in which you can practice forms of empathy, which are at the root of your virtues. Compassionate empathy, which gives you goodness. Where is that very useful? When you're communicating with other people, that's where you're going to find a great need. Exchange of love, playing both the the expression of empathetic passion, and also experience on the receiving end. And this is the wonderful thing, and and it's the thing in real life too, where when what you give is immediately also what you get, because you are experiencing in your giving of love a reception of that love yourself. All of this stuff is a kind of mirroring within your mind, kind of echo chamber. So, if people may not pay much attention to what you say. They may not be impressed with what you say, but they will be impressed with how you present yourself. And many people say, well, one thing never forget is how the person made me feel. So expanding that love flow, expanding that empathetic compassion is very important. Now, there's another form of empathy, objective empathy, in which uh, you're communicating with yourself and yourself. You're communicating between that part of you that's in the drama of your life. Call it the kid, the more emotional part of you, the one in the positive and negative dramas. And it communicates with your own inner counselor. Um, that objective empathy gives you the value of truth, and it's hard to be truthful, about yourself. But in a feeling of sharing with this objective empathy, this loving counselor within you, that you can share anything with, because they're not going to, your inner counselor isn't going to go and put it on the news, and you can share. And this kind of compassion, or I say love, this kind of loving, which is part of what empathy is. It's kind of sharing what somebody else is feeling and understanding them. So, yeah, just like in the near-death experience, you feel that you understand the other person. Whoa. Well, that communication between the kid and you and the counselor helps you from the present moving forward into your life. It's the imaginer of all you imagine, up above your dramatic timeline, up above what you would even call time, imagines, reaches into your drama as that objective empathy to help you from the present moving forward, and to help you deal with any helplessness about uh, understanding, where you're at and where you need to go. And it's very important. And of course, the compassionate empathy is about your memories and mining your memories for the good and the bad drama. And feeling a sense of compassion and caring there. Ah, So it's like the dramatic, more emotional you, the kid, helps with anxieties from the present, looking into the past. And it's there that you re experience the past so that you can get the good out of it. And the other, you're, you might remember things in your past. Uh, you wouldn't be connecting to the feelings involved. And then, that's in a near death experience, they get in touch with the feelings of themselves and what they think the feelings of the other person is having. And, the life review that many report is about experiencing, re experiencing the your life and with a sense of compassion so that you're able to have the trust to express your feelings honestly and even to feel involves a certain amount of trust and that it's safe to do so. Um, in some situations where you were helpless to do so, leaves a kind of anxiety there that's kind of helpless, and that's not something that a human being or any mammal handles very well, if at all. Some cases, so a symbolic struggle sets in, and you don't really know what it is that is guiding you and the force of it and so on. And you won't until you relive and unlearn the helplessness that kept you from feeling what was really happening. And once you do that, then of course you realize it's in the past almost all of a sudden. Big life changes occur with NDEs, but those big life changes can occur without getting close to death. You can experience this by the practices that I talk about. Now, a communication with that imaginer of all you imagine, the inner artist, is, you know, the imaginer of all your imaginings, able to create memories for you to help you feel um, things that have happened to you and to help you to reimagine things in a more comforting way, which might help you to have a sense of calm or transcendence over the drama in your life. You can get outside the drama and you can observe it, and you can see it from a caring, um, empathetic uh, creativity, and that's very helpful. So it changes your life. Um, some call it your higher power. Well, it is. Um, and that's not to state anything supernatural. And it's definitely, at least in part, your brain, because that's how you experience things. Science backs that up. Okay. Anything else that happens is the result of that influence. Yeah. So there's a great parallel there between near-death experiences in my dreams, and your dreams will happen differently when you're going through the practices, and sometimes I get a life review of sorts, and I view my behavior. In emotional intelligence, that's called self-awareness. So the ultimate self-awareness in you is your artist that's outside of your timeline and encouraging you to be the hero and the love and the movie and the story of your life. And, you know, viewing the thing, saying, hey, what a great movie. It's really enjoyable. But, yeah, but let's try uh, bringing a greater sense of meaning, to your life by being a hero of love, reaching beyond your comfort zones just a little bit, in terms of in comforting, in ways that you it isn't even a conscious thing that you're reaching past your comfort zone. Don't be afraid by that statement. When you try to comfort yourself from different perspectives, you move and engage more effectively with an expanded comfort zone, because those different perspectives slowly break down the symbolic so that you become more real, so that you don't live for money and power and, controlled as much by greed and a need for power, which, and behind that, of course, is anxiety. And yeah, so yeah, so you don't want to let the drama of your life be in control of your life, and so you want to be up above your the experience even of time itself, seeing yourself in this movie and being able to create imaginings um, for you to engage in so that you can have, just like in your dreams, different perspectives generated. Now, you won't understand every dream you have, but many more of them you will begin to see are telling you things about yourself. And that's important. Now, I mentioned emotional intelligence. Well, that's your self awareness, the artist within you. It goes, I can go deeper. I'll go into that in a minute. But, but the basic elements of emotional intelligence are self awareness, self control, and compassion, which they call empathy. But actually, you want to blend a little empathy into all of those things. Um, and that's the path of the inner mind, communication, the way of the mystic, the rational mystic. And so, wow. Even if you talk about these things, you begin to move into a space where you're very calm and blissful. Another parallel with NDEs, you know. So just teaching this stuff makes you high. Yeah. So you can see the compassionate empathy is what they are calling empathy in emotional emotional intelligence. They're that means they're implying that that part of emotional intelligence is having empathy for others. So yeah, so that's covered there. Your self-control has to do with your inner counselor, who caring inner counselor who um, helps you to feel what you feel about the present and help you to move into the future with less anxiety and with greater confidence and purpose. So it it is about self-control, because when you have objective perspective on your emotional self, that allows you to control um, that emotional self better. So it's great practice for that, that you can do in your imagination. And I've already covered the self awareness, which is coming from your ability to be the imaginer of all you imagine, in a sense. You're imagining that you're imagining. Yeah. Consciousness itself is a kind of feedback loop, according to Michio Kaku, something that I mused about for some time. And of course, hearing a really smart guy like that say the same thing, it's like, yeah, might be something there. I might have been right. Um, anyway, these practices are all done to comfort yourself. And that's the big difference between this approach and what you'll see so many times in medical model. Not against it, when it's necessary. But if you're relatively healthy, why not try this? Um, you know, if you have problems, see a professional before you do any kind of inner work. But just to get their opinion. That doesn't mean that all experts really are. I don't trust people who haven't done these sort of things for themselves, no matter how educated they are. I'd better trust someone who has done these things, been there, and understands how it works. The extra education couldn't hurt, but I think if it's not related to neurology and brain research, then it may be helpful. I'm saying not, but it can be problematic and a problem in itself, because if you're presenting to the last thing you want to do to help someone heal is to, go past their comfort zone, or try to tell them that's where they're going, and just making an effort. There's a difference between gradually expanding your comfort zone with comforting approaches and feeling forced into a broader perspective that you might not be ready for. So, you know, you know, that's a problem. Opinion. So, yeah, this is there's a lot of different things involved here. If you're looking at religion, well, religion is it's a good thing sometimes, but for the progressive, and this is a channel for you and for those who are healthy enough to be progressive. Um, who are reflective enough to understand the benefit of expanding empathy and awareness in our life. This is your channel, and it's up to you to, continue on your journey and help others on theirs. And we hope that this channel can be something that can help you do that. And a place where your voice can also be. So, a lot of parallels between inner mind communication and NDEs. A lot of application in politics. Like I say, you never forget how somebody made you feel. So if they approach you with wonder, with these kinds of passionate efforts, then they will feel more valued. They will feel a connection, and their faith and love will grow. It's real easy to make fun of one another. And, certainly, the more fragile people, Trump, have a great deal of problems with being made fun of in any way. Means that they're hurting, and they really don't. There's a lot of hurt in them, a lot of damaged faith, and these other things are not going to be skills that they've developed enough to have a good, strong ego strength. There it is, ego strength. What is that? That's a measure of your faith that you'll get your needs met, or that you can meet the needs of others. That your faith that you are in the love flow. I'm here to tell you, you're in the love flow. Being empathetic and aware will build that confidence and that ego strength, that strength of the self. You say, what is the self? That's a tricky question. But there are many personalities, sorts, because you have many perspectives that are in yourself. So you have a lot of self identities. You're a different person in one circumstance and with another. I remember somebody talking about a wartime situation in which there was a guy that was very cowardly, just day to day life. Anybody could bully him, push him around. He was kind of a coward, they thought. But then, in the circumstance of war, he would risk his life to save others and show great courage. Was that the same person? Oh, well, you can say it was, but you can also argue that it wasn't. We have to integrate all of these perspectives within ourselves in order to best survive society. People need to know, the brand of something. What is your brand? What is you? Who are you? What integrated ego strength person are you? You slap your name on top of it, and they go, oh, well, I know Mary because Mary is this way and that way. Okay. But it's a bit of an illusion. But it's also a necessary thing. Why it exists in society. It's who's responsible for you? Well, you are. That's a necessary view in society. But again, don't it shouldn't be taken and used in a punishing kind of way. Good for you. So this is all ad lib and just an old guy here just off the top of his head stringing words together, and I hope I've done it well enough to get you to think, because the important thing is not me talking to you. It's you grabbing ideas and talking within yourself. Do I agree with this or don't I agree? Like, and what do I don't not like? And what might I try in my journey? So it's really up to you. But I hope that I can contribute to your journey. And I'm sure that if I could hear you and experience you, that you would contribute to mine. So, the only real guru is all of us working together in love. That's the supreme. That would be the supreme sense of self, would be all of us together. All of us who are points of knowing, the universe knowing itself. Carl Sagan. So, of course, you understand that I meant that Carl Sagan said something like, thank you. Now, just going back over what I tried to say, um, the NDE experience is an experience within the mind. So is inner mind communication. The other is kind of extreme, and you feel like you literally left your body in many cases. The inner mind communication, you have left yourself. And very similar. You've gotten outside of your dramatic timeline. You guided yourself into the future from imagined sense of what the future can hold. And you have experienced compassion, which helps you to feel your feelings, which are coming from your needs, helping you to find the blessings and unlearn the helplessness that was a part of your past. So you're, instead of, what do I mean by that? If you're hurting a lot, and you have certain needs that you were helpless to get, those needs produce under that helplessness a great deal of anxiety. So that means a lot of times in the past you may have pushed away people that were trying to love you because the needs that they were trying to meet in you were things that you felt a lot of anxiety about. So the treasure you find, you go back and you see, wow, some folks were actually trying to care about me, and they valued me. And before, you might not have noticed. So it's not all about, like in the medical model, just upsetting people by digging into the negative. It's an exploration within yourself, a spiritual exploration in which you can begin to transcend helplessness around your needs and your feelings and their expression and your circumstances, and help you to grow spiritually and increasing your virtues. Goodness from compassionate empathy, truth from objective empathy, and artfulness, the ability to appreciate life in all of its movie types, to be able to appreciate everything as something that can be an enjoyable experience. And when you're in that state, you're in heaven, right? There's a connection to the mythologies. So, who is in heaven? Your artist is always in heaven. You know, they meet somebody, in the NDE, and it's this wonderful spirit, and they say, God, well, yeah, the artist within you is certainly at least a reflection. If that's real, it's a reflection of that, and something that's very real in you. And the Buddhist, they refer to that, to that part of you that is totally transcendent, that you really can't put any words to. And nothing can define it because it's outside of definition. It's outside of the timeline. It's a perspective that's very artful and from as if outside. That's where you get these supernatural kind of ideas and things. Though there is a part of you that's outside of what you think is natural. It doesn't mean that it's actually supernatural. But it might be. Who knows? But your inner artist is always in heaven and always there to lift you up, tell you that, hey, no matter what you did or how things were going, it's a great story that you're writing. It's really a fun thing to observe vicariously. But hey, let's add some meaning to that life. Be the hero of love. Many times I think I miss that opportunity. Sometimes because I'm around other people who would not understand me reaching out the way I would like to do. Sometimes I find myself perhaps blocking someone else who wanted to reach out. Oh, we don't have time. We don't have time to get to know this person that's begging on the street. We don't have time to offer them $1 or see if they need a ride. We don't have time. Oh, we've all done that. And that's okay because you can't go too far out of your comfort zone or you become dysfunctional. We are not God. We're not the universe. But we are whatever you conceive of the ultimate absolute truth or the universe. We're a part of it, definitely, and we're a part of it, its own knowing of itself. So, yeah, Carl Sagan was a mystic. Yeah, surprise. So was Einstein. So was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Mahatma Gandhi, so many others. And many in your own life, humble people doing good and helping the society around them, involving more and more people and themselves into a love flow. And there's a whole lot of greed that should be there. You know, You're never going to get rid of greed by punishing people for you. When you increase the love flow, that will naturally um, deal with the elements of greed and power mongering. Um, remember that hurting minds are the ones who are power mongering and greedy. Yeah. And Trump, you know, he has value in the love flow, you know. You can learn from him. You can, by his bad behaviors, you can understand the value of democracy by his threatening it. And you can appreciate him and love him as someone suffering from a lot of damaged faith in his life. But that doesn't mean you let him get elected to the presidency and try it again to take over the country. You don't let your 5-year-old drive your car down the road. Um, so he needs a lot of healing. We need to not be punishing because punishment uh, it goes against the grain of the progress that you might want to make, either through communication, mind communication, or uh, actually having had a near-death experience. And to bring these things to the world is your job. It's your job to be a hero of love and to the degree possible for you in your life. That doesn't mean that you suffer in a difficult relationship. If it's past your comfort zone, something you can't help, you need to get out of it so you can live and thrive and become a greater force in the love flow. So sometimes that means you have to get away from people. Sometimes it might mean that you have to let them fail so that they can learn. So don't stay in a bad marriage, go, oh, I have to have empathy. He didn't mean it when he hit me, or she hit me, or they said this really hateful thing to me every day of our marriage or something. Don't do that. Try to try to make sure that you're in a safe place to grow because there are so many people that you can benefit. Uh, if someone's keeping you from doing that, you need to get away from them. That's where Buddha said, well, if you can't find something equal to someone equal to yourself or better, um, just walk alone. know, um, that doesn't mean that someone who's hurting can't be your follower. Um, Learn from you, and it doesn't mean you don't reach out and help people as long as you're capable of help. Sure, but if you're going to be a team, in a marriage or in a business or whatever, you need to pick people that that you can grow with and who will help you grow. Um, and then who will actually pay attention to you when you're not just when you're hurting, but when you're reaching out, trying to help the love flow. Now, the politics involved with Gaza and the Ukraine, similar to that. You can't There's sometimes when you have to fight for what's right. And that, don't be sad and not glad that there will be hurt involved. And hmm, but I would say if you're a strong military force, that you act in a forgiving way toward people you capture, and bless those that curse you, and you try to help them, show them a better way. You not just help them, but you don't punish them. You protect yourself from them. Might have to, some people might have to be kept in a secure situation or location. It doesn't mean that you should heap punishment on it. And go in with your troops fully supported and armed, just in case. But send those troops in to get Israel. Send your troops in to make sure the people there are eating. As a war effort, it has its value because they're good people who are scared to tell you where Hamas is hiding. And yeah, so if they see that a strong force is caring about them and helping them in this war, to make sure they get plenty of food for their children and so on, well, they're going to have the courage to tell you, yeah, there's a tunnel system and it's over here and Hamas is there. um, yeah, the intel alone that you get from that kind of caring is going to be valuable. And, it doesn't mean walking in unarmed, but it does mean walking in with a heart. The same thing goes with the Ukraine. I'm on Ukraine's side. But if you can pick a side, I don't. As far as the troops go, the troops of the Russian troops are just deceived. They are. They're doing like, well, any group of humans do. They follow the leader. Hmm. And they don't want to be, you know, kicked out of the tribes because it's their survival. Keep that in mind, and have true empathy. But yeah, fight for your territory. But when you do, and when you capture the Russian soldiers, be kind to them, and don't be punishing. What is wrong with punishment? Well, disincentives. I'm not talking about you don't have any disincentives going. I'm not saying that. When you speed and you get a ticket, that's a nice disincentive. It kind of reminds you that, hey, you can hurt somebody and others, by speeding. It's a nice little reminder. And one, that'll help keep things in check in society. But punishment means that you want to hurt people in order to, and frighten people in order to get them to do the right thing. And people don't change that way. They change as Jesus talks about, by, you know, being recognized as people who are hurting and who need a position of love. So, there are ways of being very spiritual and still being protective of your sovereign territories and so on. And the more you increase communications with empathy, it's like a near-death experience again, you know. You will, in that love that you share back and forth, in that understanding that you share back and forth, then your trust in each other grows and you have a real sense of what the intent of the other person is, and they have a sense of your intent. When you're communicating in these ways, there's a deeper place that I talk about, the infant mind. And the infant mind is where, you know, before language, you had no self concept. That's a good place to relax in and to feel things that you have no words for. And there are techniques for that. But that's for another video. I think this needs to be wrapped up. And I love to sing my Irish blessing. It is from my heart. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, its hand. Anywho, I love you. Never met a person I didn't love, couldn't love with the right perspective. All right? We're one human family, and if we don't learn to get along and fix our problems together, well, species will cease to exist. I don't think nature can come up with a replacement here or somewhere else. Certainly shouldn't be so full of hubris, as Neil deGrasse says. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I call him Neil deGrasse. Well, this old brain gets things a little messed up. I hope you can tolerate that. I like to end my videos by honoring that point in each of us, that is the universe knowing itself. And it means a lot of other things too that I mentioned in other videos. The ability, the potential for increasing the love exists in all of us. Some might call it the Buddha nature, the Christ nature, whatever you there. And, we all share that. And so anyway, let's wrap this up. The word that expresses that kind of honoring, that echoes back to you, includes all of us, is namaste. So make a great day today, whenever you hear this, or a great evening. And namaste.